The House is now open for questions.
Thank you so much for your patience.
So it was really amazing. I mean, I don't know anything about science, but whatever I got from here was absolutely astounding. I mean, really. So I have two questions. One is, what is it that drives you in making these films? We were talking downstairs, you were talking about the films you've done quite a few. What is it that, and you've done films on a whole range of different subjects, totally diverse. So what is it that actually drives you to do this? And the second is, could you tell us something about the process of making this particular film? How long did it take, and what was your particular role? And did you travel to all these places? How did you get all this footage together? So these two sets of questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I take a sip here? Okay, so first, I will take your second question first. Then I will come to the general question of what kind of films I make. So, just for your information, I'm a postgraduate in physics. So I have some understanding of this part of the world. Yeah. So, this film has taken actually from the day I started thinking about it, almost 3 to 4 years. I would say roughly 4 years for me to bring it to you in this shape. It started by, I read an article somewhere that the satellites two satellites had collided somewhere, and it created some kind of a debris. So I started investigating this, Being a student of physics, it was natural for me to get intrigued with this. So this inquiry started as to what is this issue. So what I found was that I suspected this to be a technological issue. There would be some fault in the aircraft or spacecraft, and this would have collided and all that. So I started digging deeper into it. And for about a year, I only read things about the space issue. So what I discovered was that it was not only a technological problem, it was in fact, it had so many dimensions. And I was surprised to find that it was some kind of a wake-up call for humanity. It was a crisis which people were not willing to accept that it was a crisis. We all talk about pollutions in the air, in water and sea and all that. But personally, I found my investigation revealed that this was a much bigger crisis for the humanity than even the water crisis which you talk about. And surprisingly, nobody else was talking about it. The governments were not talking about it. Elon Musk was not talking about it. All these commercial fellows were just not talking about it. So that's how the investigation started, deeper and deeper. Then I realized that technology was nowhere near finding a solution. As these guy says, in next 10 years, I will be sweeping the space and bringing. It's not true. We have not even succeeded in the experimental stage of, capturing one debris item and bringing it to Earth. Nobody has till done so far. None of the countries. And on the other hand, what we are doing is that we are crowding the space by, now this guy wants to send 50,000 satellites. 50,000 is what Elon Musk is trying to do and capture this constellations and things like that. Imagine you have now, right now probably he has about 8,000. Imagine in next year's time he will have 60,000. Somebody else in Paris, I read the other day, has applied for 1 lakh of satellites being thrown. This Amazon guy is waiting in the Virgin guy is waiting in the wings. They have plans to send, thousands of satellites in the space. And nobody is telling you that the space today is so crowded, they call it CAM, they call it collision avoidance measure. So this film, the clip which you see is about 4 or 5 years old. It says, once in 3 times in a year, this scam is happening. I read the other day, Elon Musk, every quarter, they are doing 150 camps. 150 times these satellites are being, some kind of engineering is being done to avoid a collision. So you can imagine the congestion which is there, and one collision, as probably the film has tried to explain, there's something called Kessler effect or chain cascading effect. 2 splinters will collide with each other and they grow at geometric proportion. So imagine one chain reaction is starting and there is no stopping to that. So that's, to me, it's a crisis which is much, much bigger and nobody is talking about it. So I thought it very, and basically, as coming back to your first question, I started making films only after my retirement. I have been working with ICI all my life. So there were 2 things. One is that I wanted to do something for the society, create some awareness about some of the issues which were close to my heart. So that was the inspiration, starting point. And secondly, from my childhood, I had a dream of becoming a filmmaker. Had I not gone into bank, I would have probably joined. I had applied for FTII, but I never told my family that I have applied for FTII. So anyway, so that dream was inside me. So that's why in 2012 or something, when I was about to retire, I went to FTII, did a course in filmmaking, and there I found my mentor, and he's from Bangalore. In fact, he will come for tomorrow. A person called Girish Kasarvalli. He's a very renowned Kannada filmmaker. He was a faculty in FTII. So I liked he's a kurta and pajama wearing guy, very simple. Probably can't talk Elon Musk kind of English also. But very down to earth. You must see his films. He's got 20 national awards. 20 national awards out of his 24 films which he has made. So I worked with him. Wherever he was shooting, for 2 years, I shot. I went to his sets. He was making 2 films, in fact. So I became his assistant and did learning of film at the grassroots level. So that's how my story started. And the first film I made, in fact, these 2 years which I spent with Mr. Girish Kasarvalli on his sets, every evening I used to capture those moments. We used to have the same camera and same sound guy and say, Girish sir, please explain to me what was this today. Why did you do this? What is this? So I was learning. So that was my education into filmmaking. So I made all those clips and I put together all those clips. Fortunately or unfortunately, it got the national award. So that's how my journey started into films.
And this particular film, how long did it take? And how did
It took 3 to 4 years. So 1 year, as I said, investigation and all that. Then I said, the biggest challenge in this film was, how do you shoot this film? You can't go up in the space and shoot. So, and all that footage which you got, that is supplied by these agencies of the world. So I had to establish contact with these people, the ESA, NASA, CASA, ISRO, all these people. So it took me about 2 years to develop my contacts with these people, make these people, convince these people, because it's a very cagey subject, as they say, no. Can you believe that, everybody says, they don't send spy satellites. But the fact of the matter is that 75% of the satellites which are up there are spy satellites, which are being sent in the name of communication satellite, this satellite, that satellite. But all of them, including India, this is my personal guess, I don't have, and nobody will tell you the number of satellite. The officials number which we know will exclude the satellite, spy satellite domain. So all those are busy in spending money in sending spy satellites, but nobody wants to spend for cleaning the space. That's the irony of the state today.
So did you have to travel to places to get this?
No, so the story is some of them I took on Zoom call, you might have seen that. Some of them agreed to come on Zoom and explain things. With some of them, I sent them the questions, and they kind of shot in their own laboratory, the Texas guy and all that. They were very kind enough to give me answer sitting in their chambers to all those. So that's why it has taken about 3 years' time for me to get these kind of footages, which are, and first of all, people are not willing to even talk about it. Convincing them to say few things about satellite collision, disaster, this bad effect, that effect, took a lot of convincing and hard work. So that's why it took so much of time. And then putting all these things together. So as I said, once I started on this journey, first I thought it was a technological problem. Then I realized, no, it is not technology, it is legal problem also. Then I realized it has got regulatory dimensions also. Then I realized that it's a treaty also, which legal dimension, nobody is willing to, that UN treaty, nobody cares a damn about it, So and then I realized that it has got a defense angle. Then I realized that it was some Chinese are grabbing satellites here and there. So it went into all these kinds of directions, and then collating and putting it in form of a narrative was the biggest challenge for me. It has taken 6 months for me, and you imagine, in 3 years I collected so much of stuff, and sifting that stuff and putting them in a logical way so that a common man can understand. I have so much of stuff, but that is all technical. Making it understandable for a common man was a challenge. So that's why it took so much of time.
Is this the first film on this subject, or have other films been made on this subject? And also, another question is, when did you complete this film, and when did you start actually screening it?
I got it cleared from Central Board in, say, Feb, I guess. This Feb. Middle of Feb or something. And then March onwards, I have started. March, April. Now we are in April. So there have been 2-3 shows in Mumbai. There are 3 lined up in Delhi. There are 2 lined up here. So once I, in the first screening itself, I realized that this film has got the maximum interest can invite maximum interest from the student community. So a lot of engineering students were very, very, the reception was very good. So I have been talking to IITs now. I have a show at IIT Mumbai, and IIM Bangalore has invited. So, kind of exploring engineering colleges, IIMs, IITs. That segment is very, very keen to understand all these things.
Is this the first film on subject?
To my knowledge, sir, this would be the. I can't claim about it, but as far as Indian film domain is concerned, I have not come across any such.
Here, last question.
Hello, I'm Vaishnavi. I have a question that after doing so much of research, I want to know your personal perspective that are you optimistic that we can remove the space debris and we can...
Not at all optimistic. Not at all. It's very conclusive and it's done. Nobody is interested in cleaning it up. All this is marketing. All this is PR that we are doing, and we are... So we are doing on paper, we are doing on computer. The UK mission they talk about, they sent me this graphic. So All that experiment which they are talking about is either in lab or in the graphics. Nothing has gone beyond that. Nobody has even sent one satellite to, they're not in that space. Imagine the concept. They think that we'll put a, fish net to capture it. Is it feasible, or it's feasible only on a drawing board?
So please.
But because they claim, sorry, so they claim that these are the methods we are experimenting on. Show me it in the sky. Showing it in a piece of a demo in lab, it doesn't mean anything. We are fooling the world. So there is no serious attempt to do that. Whereas we are all keen on taking the man to the moon. Somebody is starting a travel company for going to Mars and moon. You have money to take people to the moon, but you don't have money to clean up the space in between. That's the irony of our government and our attitude.
You have done wonderful.
Sorry.
You have done wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Then you did have your banking career in Punjab National Bank and ICICI Bank,
Yes, sir.
and then you maintained your passion to pursue physics. Hats off to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I know there are more questions in the audience, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Please feel free to take your questions informally with O.P. Srivastav. I'd like to thank O.P. Srivastav for bringing the dirty sky to BIC, and thank you to the audience for spending your evening with us. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you to BIC for giving us this platform. Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm here.